Hello, my name is Sara Russo, and I'm a second-year MBA candidate and Center for Digital Strategies Fellow at the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. I'm pleased to welcome Gary Grates, President and Global Managing Director of Edelman Change and Employee Engagement, who is joining us today for Tech at Tuck as part of the Brit Technology Impact Series. Welcome to Tuck, Gary, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
My first question is, how has the increased availability of social technologies in the enterprise impacted the role of corporate communications, both from an internal and external perspective?
Well, I mean, it's changed everything. It's a total game changer. If you look at the fact that the mere benefit of social technologies today is that it allows people to have a voice, and it allows them to connect now globally. If you look at what that does to corporate communications, let's take it just from an internal standpoint to start. You now have the ability with a global workforce, a domestic workforce, a regional workforce, a local workforce, to basically tap into a part of their brain that's never been tapped into, a creative part, an innovative part. You now give them the ability to have a say in strategy. You give them an ability to learn from each other. You give them an opportunity to challenge and to debate at a level that they've never been able to before. So it's tremendously valuable to the health of the enterprise. On an external standpoint, from a communication standpoint, you now have a variety of different mediums. I mean, you don't just deal with the traditional business, financial, and trade media. You're dealing with everybody, because basically now everybody who interested in your product, interested in your brand, again, has a voice, and they can tell you what's on their mind. They can share with you experiences. They can give you ideas. So from a corporate communication standpoint, we're now in the business of not necessarily controlling information or controlling communications. We're in the business of just basically parceling it out and figuring out where it's coming from, and then addressing it on a real-time basis, and hopefully learning from it so that we can help the enterprise grow and prosper going forward. But basically it's changed communications really to its core.
Great, thanks. What do you see as the key success factors for a company using social technologies in the enterprise?
The first key success factor is you have to jump in the pool. Companies and leaders, as you well know, for the most part are very risk averse, particularly in today's day and age. And social media is today something where you just can't, put your foot in the water, put your toe in the water. You've got to jump in, and there's a lot of risk to that, because when you do that, you basically open yourself up. But what we always counsel clients to understand is they don't control anything anyway anymore. Control now in terms of internal command and control type management hierarchies, or externally controlling dialogue or debate or discussion about your brand or your product, that's been given up long ago. So there really is no risk. The risk is not doing it. But I think, if you look at it, I think the big thing is for leaders to get comfortable with the fact that this is the way business is being conducted now. And so they're going to have to basically recalibrate their leadership approach and their management model. But to me, that's the biggest success factor, is you've got to really go into it with your eyes wide open, and then learn from it.
Can you share any creative or innovative approaches that you've seen organizations take when using social technologies?
There's a number of them, and I'm sure you've seen a number of them too, being involved in it, and understanding the way companies have taken advantage of Facebook for products, and how they've taken advantage of Twitter and so on. I think internally the biggest thing that I find to be the most innovative is how companies are using open platforms to basically allow employees, and I alluded to this earlier, really have a say about strategy. So we've done a number of these things. They're called jams. IBM basically coined the term, but we've done it at Edelman. We've done it for a number of clients where we open up these sessions worldwide, and we have people talk about and comment on a particular strategy or product or brand, and we basically allow them to feel like they're a part of making it work, but more importantly a part of putting it together and developing it. So I think those things still today, this ability to open up these spigots within the organization and allowing people to really become part of a larger entity and to have an opportunity to provide feedback and ideas around strategy and direction, which they've never been able to do before. It was always, strategy was always given to people. Now it's socialized with people. So I think those, to me, are always the innovative ways. And I love, I'm a Starbucks fan on Facebook and, the whole bit. I like what's going on there.
Great. One thing that always comes up when you start talking about social is how do you measure? And how would you measure the success of social tools in the enterprise?
It comes down to two things. One is, I think you've got to have the courage to be subjective on some of this stuff. There's a number of different measurement models and a number of different measurement tools, and most people are familiar with them inside companies. I would say that you have to start out, in our opinion, with what is it you're trying to accomplish in terms of the business. And then you have to back into, okay, how is this social media technology, this social media program, this social media effort, how is it getting me closer to that end? And then I think you kind of look to that. I don't think, quite frankly, that you measure what we've measured in the past. All these people come to my, 7 million people come to my website and they stay for 10 minutes and 2 million people. That tells you nothing. I think those were very, very early types of measurements where we were trying to justify having an intranet or justify a portal. I think those days are gone, so we shouldn't be worrying about those kinds of data points anymore. I do think what we should track going forward are how conversations are formed and how conversations continue. Because to me, that's what you're trying to find with conversations, both internally and externally, what's resonating. Both positively and negatively. What's not being addressed, and then what's really getting people excited. I think those are the kinds of areas that I would start looking at. And that's why I say you have to be subjective, because I'm not sure the tools are there at this point to actually do it well.
Great. What's next for social technologies in the enterprise from the perspective of corporate communications? Are there any tools or recent innovations you see as the next big thing in this area, or anything that you really wish would happen?
Well, I think I don't know if it's I don't know if it's new. I think they're out there, and I think they're coming. I think I've read a lot and we've seen a lot of demos, and we've been involved in some beta testing of things. But this idea now of bringing in video, now it's there, but I'm talking about at a different level, whereby you don't have to go to a portal and just read a CEO's message. You can go to a portal now and see the CEO. Talking and you can use a lot of different tools to kind of bring in new ideas. We have one of our clients where every week the CEO does that. So you go on the portal and you kind of look at it, and she talks about what's going on in the business, and then she'll bring a customer testimonial in, so the customer comes on and talks about it, or she'll go out and she'll say, here I'm at a particular facility and I'm talking to so-and-so and he's been here for 30 years and whatever. So this dynamism, which makes it a more dynamic existence inside the organization. I think, I think what we're learning from things like YouTube and Flickr and others in terms of how to use video properly, at least for us, I think that's the next dimension of this, because it's going to be it's a 3D world, and I think we're going to start seeing things much more holistically, and that allows you, if you're from a creative standpoint, that allows you to do so many different things now in terms of personifying leadership and personifying brands, particularly inside the organization. So I would say there's a lot to be benefit from that.
Gary, on behalf of the Center for Digital Strategies at Tuck, I would like to thank you again for speaking with us today. I'm sure our listeners will really appreciate your thoughts and your insights. This has been Sara Russo for the Center for Digital Strategies at Tuck School of Business.
Thank you.